On today's episode, we are talking the difference between static images, photo dumps, carousels, reels, and how each one has its own awesome qualities and benefits. I'll also be sharing at the end of this a brilliant hook I just saw on Instagram going crazy, and it just brings everything home that I've been telling y'all for about a year now about how me-centric, I-centric copy and text is what's doing really well for people right now. Now, it's not the only thing doing well, but again, it's something that if you're struggling with reach, this is the episode you need. Let's get into it. So let me preface this real quick. First of all, in case you're new to the whole Instagram world, when I say carousel, it means any post. It's images, not a reel, like a short form video where you can swipe and there's more images. Some of you can call it a photo dump, if you will, right? Or again, a carousel. Carousel, back in the day when I started social media managing in 2014, it was one image on Instagram. Could you even zoom in on images then? It's been a while. It was different. It was a different world. You do one picture, a little caption, but I would also do quotes a lot, and I would use Canva back then. Canva was super simple. Like it had just a few, if you go way back in my feed, they're horrible. They're still up there, my little quotes, but we leaned a lot on just one image and we had one caption. That's why Instagram is so incredible now, because back then, that's kind of where the conversation of don't make it me-centric, don't make it I-centric, because you had an image or a quote or a graphic and a caption, and that was it. And you had to really make that caption gold. You wanted to use words like you and really talk to the reader. Now with carousels and reels and all this stuff, there's so many more layers, right? And that's why I keep pressing, because as I scroll, I'm seeing more and more carousels, reels, captions, starting with the word I, or at least they're in there. I actually did a reel earlier this week about this, and we'll have it in the show notes. So I was scrolling on Instagram the other day and I saw a post and it was a picture of Chipotle on the beach. And on the image, one single image, so a static image, it said with text on it, kind of like meme-ish, and it said, how do I explain this feeling to someone who's never had Chipotle? I immediately looked at who posted it, Chipotle. So when I keep telling y'all to start using how do I, what I, my, those words where it feels like a personal post from someone is so powerful right now, because it was years of just the person behind the account wasn't there and we had no idea who these people were. So with that said, before I've already done a podcast on this, but I just want to drive it home again, because that static image from Chipotle, the reason it did so well for them was because it was an image, but if it was just the Chipotle on the beach without the text, it wouldn't have done as well. It told the story and it was cheeky and funny. And that's the humor category that I talk about so much. Do not let anyone tell you that one single image cannot perform well. It was a one single image with some text. Even one simple image without any text could do well. It's a gorgeous view. It's a beautiful sourdough, right? Photos still work on Instagram. I do photo dumps probably once a month, either like it's like for Easter, or I'm sure I'll do one of, once we have the beach house totally decorated, I'll do a photo dump and showing everyone, right? And pointing out the details and things like that. So photo dumps still work. I don't want anyone to tell you otherwise, especially like, let's say you do hair, you do makeup, you can do photo dumps still, guys. It's okay. So that's the difference. That's all Instagram was a photo and a caption. And that's why you really had to make the caption about the audience only. Now with carousels, this is what I see. The first slide will have one of those hooks that I give you here on the podcast, in the Reels Lab, et cetera. And what I tell my Reels Lab students all the time is if they're looking at these and they're like, actually, Shannon, I really like carousels a lot more. Everything in that post that I give you in the Reels Lab, use that hook, use that caption, and you can use it for a carousel. A lot of times people will write on reels of mine where I'm sharing hooks and they'll be like, is this for on-screen caption or a carousel? I'm like, all of them, really, right? If I say POV, you are struggling with blah, 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 and find blah, 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 that's mainly typically for a reel. But if you wanted, it could be a caption. I mean, again, there's no rules. Just ask yourself right before you post, like, would this make me stop? Would I keep watching after the first 3 seconds? Would this carousel make me swipe? So yeah, so let's get into it again with any hooks I give you inside. And I tell people all the time inside the Reels Lab, if you see a hook or one of the Reels plans I give you, you love the hook, but you're like, man, I could really dive more into this. I'm like, great, make it a carousel. If you don't want to make it a quick, easy B-roll with text, or like I like to call it, I coined it the book reel, which you've seen millions of times on Instagram. It's where the first clip of the reel says the hook, where it's like fun ways to entertain your kids this weekend if you are in the Outer Banks. That's 2 seconds. The second clip is about 1 to 2 seconds. And it's like Jockey's Ridge, right? And then they show that. And then the third clip is the other one. Adventure Park, right? It's like it reads, it's hook and then tip, 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 or suggestion, 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 Amazon, find, Amazon, find, Amazon, find. You can flip those into carousels. So again, if you see this and you're like, actually, I don't have photos and I don't really want to do a green screen, I just have time to do a quick photo dump. Perfect. I see these going viral all the time on Instagram. It is literally a photo of someone's camera roll, and on the text says, here are some cool things to do with your kids this for free in the Outer Banks. That is it, right? Then you swipe to the next one. Again, it's a photo dump, but it's also a carousel. Those are doing really well right now, where it's just photos. I've even seen people using the same photo for every slide, and it just tells a story. First slide. The other day I was, I can't believe what I discovered next. Second slide. I was in line at Publix and someone, third slide. Literally, that works. Okay. So we love stories. We love things that are happening in the moment. And let me tell you, most of the reels I do when I'm talking to camera, because those are a little more work, right? A little more heavy lifting. It's usually because it's something that just happened on a phone call with a friend or with a client or a friend or the Reels lab, right? I'll be like, oh my gosh, I got to record this real quick. Put on some makeup real fast and I'll just hit record. Or I'll write it out on Threads because I'm like, okay, it's in my mind right now. Let me just say, oh, this just came up and let me just tell you something. It happens all the time. Most things on Threads that you see that I write is like because it just came up and someone just said it, and it either got me ticked off because I'm like, who's saying this garbage? Or it's something that just happened in a call. Okay. So again, when it comes to the hooks I share here, Instagram, TikTok, the Reels Lab, they can be caption starters typically, or they can also be the first slide of your carousel and then you go on. But with all that said, they all have their own superpower. My friend Lucas O'Keefe, he primarily does carousels. And he says, he's like, his carousels, his audience prefers carousels. So he knows that. So he does more carousels than reels. I know my people like reels, but they also love consuming carousels. So I try to work in at least one a week. And they love them. They don't go crazy for me. I think that's because I've had a few carousel posts go viral, but for me, the amount of time I devote to the carousels, because I get to be a perfectionist in them because I want them perfect, which I would tell you don't do that. But again, do as I say, not as I do. Reels, I can throw them out there. I'm like, whatever. And they do really well. They always bring in followers. They always get great reach. My carousels, the amount of time for me, I'm like one a week and then I move on. Okay. So again, just think what makes you happy to create, what do your people like to consume, and what's working for your account. And keep doing it until something's not working and you tweak it. So again, let's go back to carousels. I really wanted to dive into carousels majorly because I know I don't talk about them a lot. So just know, even if I'm talking reels on an episode, the tips I'm giving you work for carousels too. And they work for the beginning of your caption too. Like I said in the beginning, for years, everyone was like, don't say the word I, my, etc. in your captions. It needs to be you only talking to the audience. For example, you need to know about this, blah, 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 instead of I just found this and I need to tell you about it. That's the shift we're seeing. We're going back to, oh my gosh, guys, I was just doing this. Oh my gosh, I wish more people knew. I did it. That is what's working right now. And that's why Chipotle even did it. How many employees do they have? It doesn't matter. The account, the brand has its own personality. And that is what you need to remember when I know you guys it's so hard for you to go from, this shift to more me-centric, I-centric. It feels selfish because people have told you it's selfish. It's not seen as selfish anymore. It's seen as personable. Our radar is up. We need transparency. We need to know who the person is. Everyone's sales are down. Everyone's reach is down because we're over it. We want to follow humans. We want to get back to what social media was all about, which is connection, period. So I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. I will bring it home with this hook in just a second for the big aha moment. But again, if Chipotle had just put an image up of the beach and the Chipotle with no text, it wouldn't have done as well. So don't be afraid to add some fun text if you're going to do a static image. But again, if it's like a gorgeous photo of a venue or you're a wedding photographer and it's just the sickest photo you've ever taken, it's so good. Like, you don't need to add that stuff. Just ask yourself. I want you to start trusting yourself more. Look at it and go, would this make me stop? Would this make me comment? Images still do well. Photos still do well on Instagram. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone tell you reels are better. Don't let anyone tell you carousel posts are better. The best content for you to create is what you like to create and what your audience likes to consume. And again, that takes testing. So I do a mix of all of it. Okay. All right. Back now. So again, when I give you hooks, don't be afraid to use them. The hook for your carousel, when I say that, it means the first slide, because that first slide is what they're going to see first. Now, I don't know if you know this about carousels, but if someone sees your carousel again and they didn't interact with it the first time, they'll actually see slide 2. So you want to make slide 2 also grabby. Let's say you are telling a story. You want that like, I just made blah, blah, blah by selling a $20 product. Let's talk about it. Slide 2. You don't want to give away the whole enchilada yet. You want to keep kind of teasing them in. So you want to make sure they at least get to like slide 3. Because if they get to slide 3, 4, they're going to slide 10. Carousels kind of feel like a caption, an essay, if you will, type of thing, an email. That's what carousels are they're bulkier. People, as they're scrolling, kind of expect a lot more info. If we see a quick little 10-second reel, we don't expect a lot of information, right? It's a quick tip. It's something heartfelt. It's a funny joke, whatever it is. But that's why carousels are really great for also conversions, because they really get to know, you get to give them a lot more value. The whole purpose of this episode is just to give you permission to, like, you know, you don't have to only post reels or carousels. You can do a mix. You can do all of one. It's whatever is best for you, my friend. Okay, so now let's go to the hook that I found that is that went bonkers for someone. And we're going to get into exactly why, because it's me-centric, it's I-centric. It is not selfish at all. This is what it says. It's absolutely brilliant. And it will be in the show notes. And it is a carousel with just simple images from her camera roll. That is what's doing very well right now. Not that nothing else is doing well. POV reels are still doing great. Talk to camera reels are still doing great. I'm just saying this is another thing, but also this hook is also a sign of what to put on your reel. So just because it's a great hook on a carousel doesn't mean this girl should absolutely do it again with a reel. Okay. Here it is. It says how to pick the perfect watermelon. And it's literally a picture on a camera roll. It's not even great lighting. It's not taken with the sharpest, whatever. Okay. That's the main hook. How to pick the perfect watermelon. And it's toward the top of the screen, the top of the image, just as it should be. This is exactly how it would look on a reel. Underneath, from someone who bought 25 watermelons last year. Over 10,000 likes. Insane amount of comments. And then she has one more little tiny little swipe worthy little call to action in the bottom right corner. And it says, I am no scientist, but this method usually works. I am so obsessed with this piece of content, y'all. Like the way I geeked out. You go to the next one. It's a picture of watermelons in a big, you know how we see them at the grocery store. I look for one with wide stripe webbing and usually darker overall. Next one. Now it's in her cart. Then find one that is very symmetrical. She goes on. Then I did it. And you guys, the next slide is just another picture. Next slide is the picture of the watermelon cut open. Works every time. Save for your next grocery store run is what the last slide says. Brilliant. Now, did it have the words I, mine, that for? Yes, it did. I'm no scientist. That was on her slide. It also said from someone who, qualifier. Let's say you're a copywriter. You don't even have to say from a copywriter anymore. You could just say it's from someone who 4X's her, Let's say you own a bakery or a coffee shop. From someone who's made 1,000 lattes. That to me is actually a little more interesting than from a barista. That is the hook I want y'all to run with this week and test out. I did it on the reel about the Chipotle and how all these big brands are going more I-centric, me-centric. And it said, my go-to formula from writing viral hooks from someone who's helped hundreds of people go viral. A little more fun than from a social media strategist, nerd, right? So I want you guys to run with this. I want you to start writing hooks like this from a personal place, from a personal perspective. Qualify yourself, not just by I'm a doctor, I'm a this. From a mom who went through postpartum, from a teacher who now homeschools, from someone who used to get 0 clicks on their emails and now, makes $1,000 per email. It could be that long and lengthy. This is what we're seeing happen on TikTok. We're seeing it on Instagram. It's going nuts. I know this is a longer episode than normal, but I had to just drive this home because I'm telling you right now, every time I share this sort of conversation on social media, people are like, but I was told, drop it. Anyone telling you, don't use I, don't use my, don't be me-centric is living in 2020 and they're not observing what's working. They're holding on to that truth that was true to them 5 years ago. That's not what's working. So whether you're doing a carousel, whether you're doing a static post like Chipotle or you're a hair salon just showing a pretty new hairstyle you did, all of these types of formats work. It's the message, it's the image, it's the value you provide with it. That's going to make it go crazy. And using hooks, like if it's an educational piece of content, how to pick, how to do this from someone who, how I would rank blah, blah, blah from someone who just binged all the true crimes on Netflix. Like that is the stuff we want to see. I want suggestions from people who have done it, not just what ChatGPT or Google's going to tell me. Now, of course, the other side of the coin is the Chipotle, the humor, the quotes. I just saw someone say this and put the quote you heard that was great and say, and my life is forever changed. That stuff still works. Again, the POV, you are struggling with this and just find my blah, blah, blah. That works too. There's tons of things working right now on Instagram. And if you're struggling and if your reach is down, your engagement's down, try that and let me know how it goes. I love you, friend. Go crush it. It's okay. The world, a lot of heavy stuff going on. And it's also summer. Everything's kind of down right now, but this is the time to shine because a lot of people are going to get frustrated and give up. You're not. Love you, friend. Mwah.